Hi everyone, this Tech Tool screencast is for teachers to show how to use a tool called Schoology.com for your classes or your clubs. So we're going to go ahead and set up an account, and this session is going to go through the different basic features of Schoology and show you how you may want to use this in your classroom. So if you could open up your Internet Explorer, and you may want to throw this screen to the side by just dragging this and then throwing it over this way, and it'll make it so it splits the screen like that, and then have another screen where you can have Schoology up so you can watch while you do. So go ahead and do that really quickly and go to www.schoology.com. Now if I go too fast in these sessions, you can always hit the pause button in your media player or on your YouTube screen and catch up. Or you can rewind. So once you get to Schoology.com, you'll see a few different things. You'll see that this has an iPhone, a smartphone app for your iPad, your iPhone, other smartphones. And here you can click up here at the top where it says sign up. So go ahead and click sign up. And you want to sign up as an instructor. And then go ahead and fill this out. Your email address. Filling this out as I am, and then enter in your password, and then again your password. And you can decide if you want to receive updates on your email. If not, you can unclick that box. Go ahead and click register, and I'm not going to click this because I already have an account. But once you click register, it should prompt you to choose your school. So you can type in Peachtree Ridge High School, and then find it. And then it will log you in. So I'm going to, while you guys are typing in your school, I'm going to go ahead and log in. And you'll see a lot of different tabs once you log in, so don't get overwhelmed. There are a lot of features on this site. Okay, so I already have a Schoology page set up. And if you're on Facebook, this should look very, very familiar, which is one of the perks of using this tool because it's very intuitive to people like our students who already use Facebook. So I'm on my home page here, and I can see an update of all my different courses and clubs. And I can see, a Reader's Valley update. I can see my update for my improv club. So if you're on Facebook, this is similar to a news feed. I can see what my improv club is up to. It looks like they're trying to come up with a picture for their flyer and their t-shirt. And so you scroll down and you see everything that's going on. I'm in Mr. Cash's economics class. I can see what's going on in his class. So this is if you have several different courses. Now, if you want to set this up for a course for your class, you just simply click on courses up at the top. And you see I already have some courses. I use this for my clubs as well as my classes. And then you can just click on Create. And then you can type in the course name. You can add in a section if you want to have them in different blocks. You can select the subject area and the grade level. And then you can click Create. You can create as many courses as you want. You can also create groups, which the group setting you probably would want to use for your clubs, which I'm going to show you about in a little bit. You see right here you've got a picture. This would be the picture for this specific course. So all you would have to do is click Edit Picture, and then it would load up your folders, and then you can attach a file and come up with a picture for your course if you'd like. Alright, so you've got several different features here. And we don't want this to be a substitute for On My Calendar. We want you to still use On My Calendar, but this may be an option for if you want to have assignments, you want to have a discussion post. You can hide some of these features just by clicking the Hide button. Like, I probably won't use the albums, so I could click Hide on the albums if I wanted to. And so my students, when they log in, would only see the options are available. Okay, so this is the basic what your students will see when they log in. Now, to have your students access this course, they will create a Schoology account, which there will be another screencast that will show them how to do that. And then they can type in this weird little access code down here, and that will let them join your course, in which they can see all of your different assignments and discussions. Now, I use this tool with my language arts classes to have students turn in papers electronically. So this may be an option that you may want to consider. So if you want to go paperless, you can click Add Assignment, and then you can post the details of the assignment, and you would actually post a link to your Schoology page on your On My Calendar page so that if you have like certain homework in Schoology, you can post on there. And let's say I want to make this my research paper. If I click research paper, I can type in my description, enable a Dropbox, and then enable a due date. And the cool thing about Schoology is that it lets you see if students turned it in on time, if they turned it in late, which is really neat. I'm going to show you that in just a minute. I can put a link in here, like maybe my assignment is read this article and write a response to it. And then I can click create. So I'm going to set a due date for the 13th and then hit create. Okay. So it'll make that assignment, and then students can go in, they can read the assignment, and then they can submit their assignment. So that would be one of the options you can do. Let me show you how I use this with my language arts course. So I'm going to go to my previous course from last year in the past. So you don't have to worry about doing this on your computer. You can just watch for now. And so if I click on past, I see my 11th CP language arts class. And I'm just going to show you how I use this tool in my own classroom to go paperless. So I can see all of my past assignments if I click on string. And then, for instance, I had a research paper that I wanted them to turn in. So this is how it looks from the teacher account. This is, you need to submit your final draft. Here's a link on how to have better lead-ins to your quotations. Here's how to help your grammar. And so they would submit it, and then once they submit it, you would see it over here on the right. Okay, and you can see this person turned it in late, this person turned it in on time. And then I could actually click on the student, and it would show up with a view of their paper, and I could also download their paper and insert my comments. And then I could send it back to them and say, please revise. So I would actually hit download as a Word document. This is taking just a minute to load. And then this shows their paper. Download the file. I would actually grade it electronically, and then I'd send it back to Sharon over here as an attachment and say, please fix your errors and resubmit. So you see resubmitted. So that's a neat feature for going paperless in your classroom. So that's one of the main features you may use Schoology for. Another feature that is really neat is, and I'm just going to stay in my own classes, is a discussion post. So you would go to discussions, and you would see, okay, I see I have a discussion here about respect that I wanted my students to read. So they read this article that I attached, and then they responded below. You can see their responses. And this is another way to encourage more writing in your classroom, but actually they're doing it outside of your classroom, which is neat. And then you can see they can reply to each other's discussions and continue the conversation outside of the classroom. So those are the two main features I think you could use Schoology for. Let me go back to my home page. And I have already created this class, so I'm actually going to go back to my courses, and I'm going to click on my pre-AP language arts class that I just created. And I'm going to show you one really important tool that you definitely need to set up. You click over here on course options, and you click on moderate post. This is going to make it so where whenever a student posts something, you get to see what they post before it appears to everybody else. So you want to click right here, enable moderation, and then click enable. And the reason why this is going to help us comply with the Gwinnett County policy on teacher moderation of student posts. And the reason why this is important is so that we don't have online bullying. We make sure what they post is appropriate. So when they respond to one of my discussion posts, it'll appear down here, and I would just click on the comment, and then I would click on approve, and then everyone else in the course would be able to see it. So the way that I use this is I would post a discussion, and their homework would be to go home and respond. And then I would, from my iPhone, approve their responses, just make sure that they're appropriate. And then the next day I'd say, all right, you need to go back in and reply to at least 2 people's responses. And so they really enjoy doing that because it helps them continue the conversation outside of the classroom, which we need. Okay, a few other things that I want to show you is you have this online testing quizzes. I have not played around with this tool enough, but it seems that you could upload your questions, your quiz questions, as practice quizzes perhaps, and then you could, it'll record, it'll check it for you and tell you how your students are doing. Files and links, this is what you would use. You probably won't need this option since you have On My Calendar, but you could upload articles, you could upload videos, that sort of thing for students to see. Albums, if you wanted to upload pictures. And then pages, this is right here sort of like a blog. So you can click Add Page, and it'll let you start a blog, and you can write in here and then create. And but again, I'm not sure that you would need that tool. The main two tools I think this is neat for are assignments and discussions, like I said. Here you can see your members, and you can get data on how many times your members log into your course. You can actually download parent code, so each student will have their own parent code that they can log into Schoology themselves and see what the child is up to. You can see analytics, how many times each page is viewed, a lot of different tools that you just kind of have to play around with. Now this resource button right up here is sort of like your own little personal My document. So rather than sending things to yourself as a file in an email, you can save it here, and then you can access it from home. So if I click on My Resources, these are all my Between the Lions papers that I would work on at home. And then you have over here a mailbox, so you can email students within here. They can contact you through Schoology, and it can actually get sent straight to your GoGwinnett email as well. You'll notice here, this is sort of the update button. So if I click on this, I can see, okay, this person replied to this post, this person replied to this post, and I'll also see up here on these buttons that if I have posts to moderate. If you click over here where you are, you can set up your account for how you want people to view your class. You can set up notifications to see, okay, how often do you want to be bothered when, if a course update is posted, do you want it to be sent to your email? You can put that on or off. So you may want to turn some of these off like I did, so you're not getting 100 emails whenever something goes on with Schoology. I made sure that I kept receive a private message on so that when students email me, I get it on my Lotus Note. Now, if you want to use this for a club, you can hit Groups, and then you can click Create. And you can see my Lions X club is on here. Mr. Cash and I have this club together. You would give them this code to join this club, and then they could actually come up with different ideas and have conversations of different things that they could do within their club. So if I go to my Readers Rally Club, and I set up my Readers Rally Club as a course, but if I were to do it all over again, I'd set it up as a group. And you can see I have, my assignments for Readers Rally. I want them to choose their group, and then they can submit through there. I have a discussion post for Readers Rally. I have several of them that you can see if you click on discussions. Okay, introduce yourself. And so I click in there, and I have my, direction. And then if you scroll down, you can see the different posts. Like Dallin has introduced himself, and then I could reply to Dallin. So a way for them to get to know each other outside of the club. If I go back to the course, I can see, I have files and links. I've got a page where I keep my meeting minutes. So with our first meeting, I had a student type up everything that we did, and then what we decided on. So this would be a neat thing for your club or your sports team that could help you get a lot of things done outside of school without having to meet every time that you have to do something. So those are the basic features of Schoology. Another button that I often used was Updates. So like if I wanted to update, okay, please remember to bring, and then I could continue that, and then I could send, I could update that, attach a file, and then I could post in Readers Rally or in whichever group that I want to post in. And then students, if they have the iPhone app, could get this sent straight to them through a text message, and then they could see their updates. So that's very, very generic directions for Schoology.com. There are so many different features that you can use this for. YouTube.com has a lot of Schoology tutorials. If you just go to YouTube.com and type in Schoology, there's lots of different things that you can watch that will show you even more advanced features. But again, we do not want this to be a substitute for On My Calendar. This could be a link that you could put on your On My Calendar page for students to go if they want to do a discussion post or return in their stuff electronically. So I hope that was helpful. If you ever have any questions, just let me or Marcia know, and we will see you at the next Tech Talk.